You know, Jimmy Dore has a video called mainstream media hit piece on YouTube disagreeing how it radicalizes people, which we know it's true. Dore knows it's true. This is the guy that interviewed Kane, but that's when he censored Sam's name. You know, Dore's in the same company as Crowder, Rubin, and you know, other people that won't mention his name. Hell, you know, Dore just backed his idea about talking to Bugle boys. You know, he just had his Dave Rubin moment, saying how he just wants to talk about ideas. You know, and it's not just Dore. You know, there's many others that lie about.
Did he bring up the Boogaloo Boys again since early January?
Yes, go on.
Did he say something recently about that?
Yeah, I just saw another video about it where he's talking about how, you know, we need to talk to all people instead of not just the leftists, the progressives, you know, people that are on our side, the socialists. We need to talk to everybody. And he also bragged about still going on to Tucker Carlson because Tucker Carlson's anti-war is his line. You know, it's ridiculous.
Here's the thing, and the Dore people usually miscategorize my views on this as well. I don't think there's anything wrong with talking to everybody. There's nothing wrong with having on whoever you want on your show or going on whatever show you want to go on, or just, you know, I have no problem with that at all. The point is, what is the purpose of it? If the purpose of having a right-winger on your show is to promote their views and let them talk it up as something great without any pushback, then that's wrong, in my opinion, if your point isn't to promote those views. I mean, it's that simple. You could talk to whoever you want, but what is the purpose of the conversation?
Exactly. Right. I mean, Katie Halper and Antaibi were talking about having Rudy Giuliani on their show, and not to call him not to call out Rudy or the Trump administration out for their crimes and their incompetence, but to actually promote them. And it would be good for him to come on their show, you know? So, like, why have Rudy on your show at all if you're, you know?
I mean, listen, if they want to have Giuliani on their show, you know, and I'm sure it would be great for their show. Absolutely. I don't think there's anything really wrong with pointing that out. But again, what are they going to talk with him about when he's on there? Are they going to completely try to get something out of him, to try to, you know, hold him to account for the whole nonsense he went through to put the election under scrutiny, unwarranted scrutiny? I mean, are they going to nail him for his unabashed support of Trump's big lie, or are they just going to have him on and talk up whatever? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I don't know if it's happened yet. It's the first I'm hearing of this particular thing. But again, my point is, have on whoever you want. But what is the purpose of the conversation? That's the real point to me. And to your main point, the nuance thing, I absolutely agree. In fact, last night, one of my tweets made it to Tucker Carlson's show. Apparently, I've not seen it. People sent me the screenshot, and
oh, really?
Yeah. And what I gotta say, either Tucker's audience really does not care about the New York City mayoral race, or Tucker's audience is a lot less engaged, because I really didn't get much response from his viewership for this. But basically, what I saw this too.
Just really quick, it's not.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's just not like people and guests. It's, you know, news reports and talking points. Like, you know, people not talking the full story about Biden's immigration. We know it's not great, but, you know, we know it's far better than, you know, Trump's by far. You know, when it comes to Fauci and his emails, a lot of people on both sides, you know, and I'm mostly calling on the left because that's what I'm a part of, not telling the full story about the emails, taking things out of context, misrepresenting what people say were meant at the time. You know what I mean? And, you know, now you have Dore's yes men, just really quick, Dore's yes men, Ron Pacone attacking Tom Hartman, of all people, on Twitter. But, you know,
I mean,
that's just ridiculous.
I can tell you right now, as someone who looked through those Fauci emails, the vast majority of them, and has written about them, the interesting thing in there is getting a behind the scenes look at what the head of the response to the COVID pandemic was dealing with and going through. And I don't mean this, you know, as sympathetically. I mean, we can see what he went through, the mistakes he made, the mistakes he made, which there are mistakes he made in getting information out to the public. We get to see. What's interesting to me is how responsive he was to anyone and everyone who replied to, who sent him an email. But in terms of there being some sort of big unveil in there, like some big eureka moment in there. There is nothing of the sort. In fact, all the emails that are passed around as some big bombshells by the right, especially, and by those on certain factions on the left, all those emails that are considered bombshells are emails that were sent to Fauci from complete nobodies. One of the major emails that were being sent around was an email claiming that they had the recipe to make COVID-19. And what it was some COVID conspiracy theorist who runs a COVID conspiracy website where he sells COVID merch called COVID Candy. And the guy basically copied and pasted an old scientific report from, I believe it was either like the late 1990s or early 2000s that had absolutely nothing to do with COVID-19. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. There's nothing that people are turning nothing into something just because they hear that emails were released. Like, that's the thing. People don't understand what they're talking about. They assume emails released must be some crazy information, and there must have been some sort of hack, which also is not true. Those were released due to a Freedom of Information Act request. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I mean, they after the Freedom of Information Act, they gave out those emails that, Biden or Fauci or anybody wanted those still classified, they would be. Okay. And same thing with the Wuhan virus leak theory that's out there. And there's really still no evidence that it did. I mean, it's possible, but again, not to tell both sides of the story just annoys me so much, especially when you're supposed to be a leftist progressive commentator on the story,
Thank you for the call.
Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Take care, Dave. They released an unofficial tally of the ranked choice voting results for New York City mayor. And what happened was, in the original unofficial tally, again, unofficial, these weren't the finalized results. There's still even 120 something thousand absentee ballots yet to be counted. But in the original unofficial tally, they accidentally added 130,000 some odd test ballots. Complete mess up, absolutely rake the New York City Board of Elections over the coals for this. They deserve scrutiny, obviously, but mistakes do happen.
Especially here.
Yeah. And people, when they heard this, they didn't realize that was what happened. All they saw was, and I'm included in this, all they saw was a number of pundits, left, right, and center, also saw this and said the same thing. When Eric Adams put out his original response, he was to that. It seemed like he was calling into question the entire election to some people at first, because he had already hinted he was going to do that before Election Day even. He had already hinted that ranked choice voting was going to possibly cost him the election, and that it was, and his campaign was calling the actual legal process in New York City, how voting actually works now in New York City, ranked choice voting, they were calling it racist because it was going to undermine his voters' will, which is not the case. Ranked choice voting makes it so no one's vote ever gets thrown away, depending on who they vote for. You can vote for whoever you want and still rank other people who could have a better shot. And, if your first choice doesn't make it, your real choice doesn't make it because, they never really had a shot to begin with, maybe your next choice gets your vote too. And then it keeps going down the line until you've exercised all your ranked choice options. To me, it's the best possible way to make sure every single vote counts.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I was just finishing my lunch. I ordered the Crowder. It was really good. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and to hit the like button. Thank you. Can't do it without you.